I was so excited to have reached bidding on the boys again because this is, to be fair, like most, an amazing Cheers episode, mostly because of Bebe Neuwirth's performance. The whole episode is great, but she just makes it golden. And also one Frasier facial expression as well that I absolutely love. This is the 8th episode of the 6th season of Cheers. This is actually directed by Thomas Lofaro, and as always there will be spoilers from now as I go through the episode chronologically and share some thoughts. And in the opening, we have Carla serving Woody his dinner. He's having spaghetti while Carla is talking about varicose veins. Yeah, I felt a little bit sick, but Woody is fine until Frasier says, and I quote, "Can you believe that maintaining postcoital tristesse is gender-oriented?" That was too much for Woody. We then have the theme, and the main narrative is actually established straight away. Rebecca is talking to everybody about an upcoming eligible bachelor auction for the Children's Hospital, and Sam tells Rebecca, "I don't want to do it," even before Rebecca gets a chance to ask him, and Rebecca just says, "Well, I wasn't going to ask you anyway, I don't find you that desirable," and Sam's a little bit hurt by that. Lilith and Frasier then come in. It's nice to see Lilith relaxing in Cheers because it doesn't happen that often. Usually she's coming in to find Frasier, or they're in the middle of a fight, but it's nice to have her there relaxing, having champagne, and then Frasier mentions a prenup. And I will say Lilith overreacts, in my opinion. I think prenups are exceptionally sensible. Lilith, however, is very hurt because she suddenly thinks Frasier's already planning for their divorce, and she storms off, calling him a compulsive, anal-retentive chowderhead. And needless to say, Frasier is kind of annoyed by that. I do think that Lilith did overreact in the moment, and we'll come back to them in a little bit. Meanwhile, Sam has decided to volunteer for the charity auction after Rebecca repeatedly says she really doesn't care if he doesn't want to do it. So he says, "Fine, I'll do it." And then we cut to the auction. And it's a brilliant scene, very well executed. Before it begins, Frasier yells across the bar that Lilith is a pig-headed witch. It's very heated. And we enter the auction at a point where everybody has been bid on apart from Sam. And Rebecca reveals they only need to reach $2,000 to break the record from the previous auction. And they realise it's just Sam left. And Cliff does briefly volunteer himself, but Rebecca thinks on her feet and points out that it would be an issue with him as a government employee getting involved with this kind of thing, and that placates Cliff pretty quickly. Rebecca, however, does manage to convince Woody, and Woody is up next. And honestly, he's really appealing, and I'm not surprised that people started to bid on him immediately. And it went up to $400. And the wedding bid was a lady at the bar who very much looked like she would snap Woody in two. Woody is kind of nervous now. Carla and Rebecca are sitting at the table together, and Carla points out they only need $1,600 for Sam to beat the record. And Rebecca points out, "The day anyone pays $1,600 for Malone, I'll tattoo his name on my butt." And the bidding begins, and it's going off to a really good start. And then Carla chimes in with a bid to then encourage people to bid on top, and she does this a couple of times. And then it looks like the bids are slowing down, so Rebecca jumps in at $1,250, thinking that people will then jump on top, and it doesn't look like that's going to happen. And it looks like Rebecca is going to have to go on this date with Sam for over $1,200. And that in itself would have been really thrilling, but with a second to spare, Lilith comes out of the back room and says, "I bid $2,000. And Lilith wins. Lilith wins the bid, obviously. She's doing it to get back at Frasier, maybe partly encouraged by the charitable donation, but definitely mostly driven by her current dislike of Frasier. And we have this really sweet moment, actually. I really love this moment between Sam and Frasier. Very sweet, but very funny, where Frasier is sitting at the bar and he says to Sam, "I'm losing her, Sam." And Sam replies, "You're my friend. I'm never going to take a woman away from you." And Frasier replies, "What about Diane?" And Sam, without missing a beat, replies, "And didn't God punish me with a vengeance?" I love Diane. I love the fact that their mutual dislike of her is bringing them together. But I love her to bits, but she really did screw both of them over. And I like the fact that they can bond over that rather than letting it come between them, or rather than Frasier stopping him from having this friendship with Sam. I like the fact that they can bond over the problems that Diane has caused. And Sam actually suggests that Frasier follows them up to the location and then bursts into the room and demands that he stays with Lilith and wins her back, basically. So this is what's going to happen. And the next thing we know, we spend the rest of the episode at the hotel where they're staying, and Lilith is quite keen on the evening, and at one point she says, Frasier Smazier, let's have some fun, and she puts on the music, she's turning the lights off. Sam is kind of nervous about what's happening, and then she gets on the bed, and Bebe Neuwirth's performance is just absolutely fantastic. She takes Sam's car keys and begins to play with them, and she starts dancing, initially by herself up on high, standing on a box, an ottoman thing, and then dancing with Sam. She kisses him, she's unbuttoning his shirt, she pulls his trousers down. It takes her about 2 seconds, less than 2 seconds, to unbutton his trousers and pull them down. It's fantastic. It's so sleek. The movements are just so precise and so fabulous. And then Frasier bursts in. And I do wonder what would have happened if Frasier hadn't come into the room at that point. And of course, Frasier sees Sam with his trousers down, and initially he's worried that Sam has given in to the temptation of this beautiful Lilith. But Sam quickly leaves the room with his trousers around his ankles, and Lilith confesses that she knew Frasier would turn up. And actually, Frasier had been delayed. I think things went further with Sam than Lilith had perhaps planned, because she did think Frasier would get there much quicker. So I do wonder how much of it she was kind of concerned about doing while she was doing it, just hoping at any moment. Maybe she wasn't hoping, maybe she was willing to take it as far as she could, who knows. But Frasier did arrive at the perfect moment, and they make up and they have this beautiful moment together. And Sam sneaks back in to grab the car keys from Lilith, and it's gorgeous, and I love it. And Bebe Neuwirth is just absolutely perfect, and it's a really great episode. Really thoroughly enjoyed it. Feel sorry for Woody, but everything else went swimmingly, and Bidding on the Boys is absolutely a fantastic episode. I think one of the most memorable, and certainly one of the best from season 6. It really is a truly fantastic episode of Cheers. I was so excited to reach this one again, because the scene with Lilith and Sam is just so perfect, and I absolutely love it.